FBI City, big favourites, 54% to take all 3 points at home against Jurgen Klopp's side. The big talking point going into this clash is, of course, Coutinho. It's the first game, really, we've seen him be available after the back problem, the illness. However, Jurgen Klopp hasn't included him in the squad. He said he could have played probably 15 or 20 minutes, but he thought it was best for him to stay out of the team for this clash. The big question, of course, as to the reasoning behind that is that he did come off the bench, he did score for Brazil, he's clearly okay. So why would you not have him on the bench for this match?
Well, do you want the cynical view? Or do you want the...
Well, considering I asked you, Craig, yeah, I don't think there's any other view. Is there another mode that you have?
I'm not always a cynic.
No.
But if you look at it from a cynical view, you'll say, well, his team are playing well at the moment and he's just leaving them behind because he doesn't really need them. But in truth, he doesn't well need them. He obviously, and I don't think Klopp's really like that. I mean, he knows he has to manage the guy. He knows he needs to keep the guy on side. So I think it'll be an extra fitness thing for him. But I absolutely agree. Why not have him there on the bench to come off if that's what you need? But then he's the manager. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
I don't think that's cynical at all. I think that's just common sense. Your team have played well, dropped points to opening day of the season, but have looked good since that. Not only managing Philippe Coutinho, but you have to manage the rest of the squad as well.
Yeah, but you don't have to start him, Shaq. You can surely have him on the bench, bring him on.
But at the same time, he goes on a little bit of a strop to start the season.
A little bit.
You know, he goes away with Brazil, and it doesn't mean that as soon as he comes back, you welcome him with open arms. And as much as there is a point to managing Philippe Coutinho, because you will need him in the long term, absolutely, and I think there's value to that, but you have to manage the rest of the guys as well to show that I have faith in you, not just in starting 11, but those who've travelled and been a part of things while he's been doing whatever he's doing. Is
Liverpool's squad that deep that you can't have a place for Coutinho on the bench because you've got to appease?
We're talking one game here. Philippe Coutinho,
but it's a big game against Manchester City.
Philippe Coutinho will have a big role to play for Liverpool between now and the end of the season. Right now, I think the more important thing is everybody else outside of Philippe Coutinho.
I think what Jurgen Klopp here, what he's doing is that he's making a future decision easier for himself. In that, at some point, Coutinho's going to come into play. Maybe playing away at Manchester City, there's a possibility for the team to drop points there. And now, once you have lost a game, you can very easily then say, you know what, we need Coutinho's magic on the field. And you can sell that to the rest of the team as well. So, I'm not saying he's throwing the game. But if he loses,
we're going down a track here.
But if they lose again away at Manchester City, well, now they've lost the game. So now it isn't just a team that has won all the games. Now there is an excuse for him to slide them right in. I'm just saying.
Is out for Manchester City. The big question will be are we going to see a lot of cutaways to Kun Aguero on the bench, as we did in the match against Bournemouth? Pep Guardiola, of course, preferring to play Gabriel Jesus. Kun Aguero's got a great record, in fact, against Liverpool. You take a look at the stats, and it's pretty impressive.
What's Kun Aguero got to do with Vincent Kompany being injured?
Well, that was just a little segue. A little bit of news.
Well, I can tell you it didn't work.
It was just it was a little bit of news, and then I was moving on to the Kun Aguero.
So, Vincent Kompany's injured. What about the cutaways in Sergio Aguero? I mean, I think he might start. Aguero.
This is where you have to give us a why.
Because I think, in terms of experience, I tell you why. I think at the moment he's an all-round better footballer. I think Jesus is going to he's a real talent. He's younger. He's got a big future ahead of him. But if I want it here and now, and I want big performances.
But he hasn't been that great this season, has he?
Because he's played alongside Jesus, and then the game before the international break at Bournemouth, he was on the bench. But if you're asking me at the moment,
right,
who would I have in my team?
Sure.
I would have Aguero in my team with Jesus to come off the bench, not the other way around.
Here's the other thing. Sergio Aguero is well rested.
Well, he didn't play at all, did he?
Well rested, and so sometimes, you know, when they go to South America and they come back, they're thinking, well, the long travel and the trip and this and then the games and the stress. Well, that's no stress for Kun Aguero. He didn't play. He did not partake. He's well rested. I agree with Craig. I think Kun Aguero, not only does he start, but he scores for Manchester City.
I think Pep goes with Gabriel Jesus.
Oh.
He's been his tried and tested. I think the preferred striker. As well as he's managed that situation, I think Gabriel Jesus is #1 and starts.
Right, predictions. Given that there's no Vincent Kompany.
John Stones will probably need to come in.
There we go, yeah.
It's a worry. Because just he's error prone. I'm still, yeah, I'm going for a Manchester City win.
Right.
They're not.
Well, can you give me a score as well?
Oh, shit. Just 2-0, all right. Does that appease you?
Yes.
I'm going for a draw.
Oh, of course.
1-1.
Wow.
Okay. 2-1 Manchester City. Kun Agüero, game winner.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
There
Off
you go,
the bench.
see? No, I just said he started.
I wasn't listening.
Has decided not to recall Philippe Coutinho to the squad that will face Manchester City this weekend. Stevie Nicol is here with me. Stevie, why wouldn't you recall arguably your best player to the squad that will face Man City?
I have no idea.
Top opposition.
Because I would have done it.
He says he's unfit. Are you buying into that? He's not quite fit.
He's not fit enough to play 90 minutes, but he showed for Brazil an international break that he's fit enough to come on and play for, what, 20, 25 minutes and score.
Exactly.
So why would you not have that at your disposal? Klopp's talking about training. He can get 4 or 5... Well, he can train in the morning, or he can train after the game, and he can train for the next 4 or 5 days once his game's over and done with. It really makes no sense to me whatsoever why you wouldn't have him at least on the bench, because if you're in trouble, why would you not want to go and bring this guy on? It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it whatsoever.
I would take 20 minutes of Philippe Coutinho than 20 minutes without him. Do you think there's still a bit of bad blood in the water after the whole Barcelona move that should have happened didn't happen?
I don't think there is, no. Klopp is very open about everything, and he's been very open about this situation. He understands that Coutinho did put a transfer request in. He understands that he wanted to leave, and he's not particularly happy. But, you know, these things happen in a footballer's career, and Coutinho will go over it, and I'm sure Liverpool will benefit as soon as he gets over that. Saying that, I would still have had him in the squad and on the bench at the very least for this big game against Manchester City.
Does that make them underdogs this weekend?
I think so. Away from home, yes, but I don't expect them to lose, put it that way.
Okay, so Stevie Nicol says that Liverpool will indeed be missing a big man in Philippe Coutinho, but he's still not picking them to lose.
Of course he was in, yes, and we had a very good talk. I was in a very good mood, and training was even better. But I had to make the decision. It was so clear. We have now 7 games in the next 3 weeks, kind of, and so there will be never time really to train. And we had this conversation, and he had, before he went to Brazil, he couldn't train for around about 3 weeks. So that means we have to prepare him now, try to prepare him for the rest of the season, and so that's quite difficult with our fixtures and our schedule. And so I decided to leave him out of the squad for City, that we can use this 4 or 5 days, for real and proper training. It was not the most easy time, but that's the transfer window. In these times, the only moment when people can make transfers, players can make transfers, clubs can make transfers, and things like this happen. It's not the first time here, and it will not be the last time in the history and the future, but similar things will happen. And I really think we handle it really well. And that there's no secret about the things which happen. Not all the things in newspapers or wherever were 100% right, but it's normal that a lot of things coming up in a situation like this, but nothing I'm aware of was kind of unforgivable or something like this. It's a normal thing. Actually, I said yesterday in the dressing room, so, boys, welcome to new players, yeah? Ox and Phil. So, and all good. That's absolutely. And so he loves football, and he still loves this club. So, and there's no problem. The only, not problem, but the only thing we have to do now is really to bring him into shape, because maybe a few of you remember still before he got the back problems, he was in outstanding shape.
He played with Belgium against Gibraltar. They won 9-0, and they had a little problem in the scarf, the calf. So, and I think we'll not be able for tomorrow. I'm sad. So I would like to be fit. So he made a huge effort. Our physios, all the people work a lot to take care of him. So the last 7, 8, 9 games the last season, he played without the problems, 90 minutes. This pre-season we take care of him, and he played these 3 games, 90 minutes, no problem at all. So now it was the start of the part where we play every 3 days. Until now it just was 1 game a week. And unfortunately we lost him. So, but okay, again we'll try to recover as soon as possible. We start to speak with Arsenal in the last days, because before it was not possible. So they want to make a swap with Rush. And they talked to me, and I said, no chance. But 0 chance, not 1% chance, is 0 chance to make a swap with Alexis, with Rush, because Rush is, I trust a lot in him. He's 22 years old, English player. They have a lot of improved, a lot of gap to improve, and so that's them. So only we can do, if it's possible, to make a deal, the cash, and we try to make an offer. They accept, but at the end they could not sign the player we decide, and at the end Alexis stay in Arsenal. Ayer estuvo aquí. Si tiene algún problema sobre la economía del club, tiene a Ferran Soriano, que es un máster en esto, le puede decir cómo está, si no llamar a la UEFA, en la cual, según tengo entendido, no nos hay ni llamado por ser investigados, nada por el estilo. Poca cosa puedo más decir. Intentar igual lo bueno que hace la Premier League, que hace muchas cosas buenas, como genera tanto dinero en el mundo, y que pueden aprender de ellos para poder hacerlo.
The ball, you've got Philippe Coutinho after his
again.
role for Brazil.
Fit and available.
Yep. Jurgen Klopp suggesting he's not going to start Coutinho, but where does he now fit in? Having,
listen, I think you'll find in the next couple of weeks that Klopp will figure a way of getting him in the starting 11. He certainly won't start at the weekend, and it's quite easy for Klopp not to start him, because attacking-wise, Liverpool so far in the Premier League have been nothing short of
when
fantastic.
he is fully fit, though. How does that?
He'll get him in. It's amazing how things work. You know, somebody will have a little strain or a little niggle, or they'll be suspended. There'll be something will happen, and he'll get in. And the guy is so good that he'll keep his place. And all of a sudden, hey, he's in the starting 11.
What do you mean when you say when he's fully fit? He's fully fit. He was with Brazil scoring goals.
He's not Liverpool fit, though, is he?
All right.
Stuart, where's he going to fit in when he is fully fit, whatever that is?
I don't think he's going to play in the front 3, because Salah and Mane play in those wide areas and then make those forward runs. Firmino plays as the centre forward and then drops into midfield when they get good possession. So I think he's going to have to play as one of the 3 midfield players, the positions that maybe Emre Can is playing at the moment, maybe the position that Wijnaldum is playing at the moment. So that's where I can see him coming into the team. But he'll have to do a little bit more defensive work than we've seen him do before if he's going to play in those positions.
That was the 3 ball that played, that Robbo mentioned, that played ever so well against Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal were terrible. Maybe that came into it. But Wijnaldum, Can and Henderson, who had a very good game against Arsenal, as did the 2 wide boys in the front 3. And he does like Klopp because, and Klopp talked about this, Firmino's movement just drags centre-halves around, and that allows the space for the wider boys to come inside or midfielders to make runs. So unless somebody picks up a strain, or unless Liverpool have a fall off the chart in terms of performances or results, then Philippe Coutinho might just have to wait his turn.
However, if you turn down 150 million whatever for Coutinho, I mean, he's going to play.
Yeah. But if you're winning, Ali,
well,
you're winning.
I understand that, but if you're making the statement of, okay, hold on a second, we are keeping this player, he's part of our present and our future, and we're going to build around this guy, he's got to be on the field.
But if I'm winning every week, if I'm playing like they did against Arsenal, and I'm not suggesting it's going to be that easy down the line, there'll be some tougher tests. But if I keep winning and producing performances like that, then. And don't forget, Coutinho made it clear he wanted to leave Liverpool. It was just Liverpool were steadfast and said no. That I wouldn't make a change. I would keep him on the bench. Now, ultimately, he'll try and squeeze him in somewhere down the line. But if Liverpool keep winning, which is obviously good for them, then the Brazilian might have to wait.
A game we're going to see, you know, when heavyweights in the Premier League meet this early in the season, often it can be quite a neutral game. It finished 1-1 last year at the Etihad. What do you expect this time?
I'm expecting an attacking game. Liverpool love to play on the counter-attack. Manchester City want to play on the front foot most of the time. Again, it's about could be about formations. Will Man City go to a back three, which will then try and nullify the wide players coming in so that the two wide centre-backs go up against them and they have a holding midfield player against Firmino. But I think it's going to be an outstanding game. I think they will play with the front two, Manchester City, and I think they'll cause Liverpool's back four problems. It'll also be good to see who Klopp will play in goal. Mignolet or Karius? I would still go with Mignolet.
Do you like Stewie's tactical breakdown there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he did say that after the game where Karius came in that Mignolet would still be his number one.
Yeah.
So I would expect him to come in. I think Klopp's decisions are a lot more simplified than Guardiola's. The start of Man City's season, I still think he's searching for the right balance and the right answers. With these new talented players coming in, with Mendy getting some game time, with Bernardo Silva getting some game time, with the rotation of the front two as a one, you know. So I still think he's tinkering more with what's going to work best for this Man City squad, and I think that would be a worry for Liverpool at the weekend. I fancy Man City to get it right at home.
Stevie, Mignolet or Karius? Who's starting?
Oh, no question, Mignolet.
Yeah.
Listen, Karius, as much as Klopp's saying he was just playing Karius that one game to give him some time on the field, you got to say Karius never did himself any favours whatsoever. Fortunately, Arsenal didn't get a shot on target, but with his feet, he was absolutely horrendous. And by the time the game was finished, people were kind of sniggering every time the ball went to the Karius' feet. So for me, it's easy. Mignolet starts, Karius played himself out.
Ian, you mentioned the start time, the Saturday lunchtime start to this game. Is that going to have an effect? What sort of game are we going to see?
You sometimes get a bit of a slow start, don't you, when it is a Saturday lunchtime game, and it's coming after the international break as well. But I think the chemistry between these two attacking sides means that it's probably going to be a very entertaining game. I think the best player in the Premier League so far this season has been Roberto Firmino. What shape he's in after the international break, we shall see. But he's been sensational so far. Liverpool usually give City a pretty good game, and I think they will again.
Yeah, they do have an excellent recent record against City. Doesn't affect the SPI, though. 54% favourites, Man City. Liverpool given just a 22% chance to go to the Etihad and win. 24% the draw. Stuart, what's your prognostication? What's going to happen?
I'm going to go with the 24%. I think it will be a good game, but I think it will be a draw. I think both sides will score. I think it'll be an excellent game.
So Stewie with the draw. Ian, let's go to you next. Prediction?
2-2.
Oh, okay, two draws.
I had a way to take a position.
Go
This
along
guy,
the line.
Liverpool, was that probably Liverpool's best performance under Klopp 18 months ago?
4-1.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Firmino, as the lads mentioned, was great. But I think with the big names getting fit for Man City, and David Silva is available, I believe, who's a fantastic little player. I'm going to go for City. I think they're only going to get better and better as the season goes on.
Okay.
I agree with Ian in the sense that the chemistry of both of these attacking teams will create chances, but also the lack of chemistry defensively for both of these teams will create chances for the other group. I believe that this is going to be a wide open game. Manchester City thrives in a game where they can really showcase their attacking talent and take Manchester City at home.
Two draws, two for City. Stevie?
I've got to go for a score draw.
He can't bring himself to see it. He can't see it. I'll have to go for a City win. He can't jinx him. He can't jinx him.
It's so set up for Liverpool to hit them on the counter. We know City are vulnerable, but Liverpool are vulnerable at the back as well. Right. And that's why I'm going for a score draw. Both sides will score goals.
You like Ian's 2-2 prediction, don't you?
Yeah, I'll go with that as well.